Single fathers. What's your proudest dad moment? My daughter Beth turned 8 in June. For months, she'd been begging for a treehouse, not one of those prefab kits. She wanted a real one with a ladder and windows and a spot to read. I had zero carpentry skills, but I wasn't about to tell her no. See, Beth's mom left when she was 3, just walked out one Tuesday morning and never came back. No fight, no warning, just gone. Since then, it's been me and Beth figuring things out. And every time she asks me for something, I hear this voice in my head saying, don't let her down like her mother did. So when she showed me a drawing she made of this treehouse with a little reading nook and curtains in the windows, I knew I had to make it happen, even if I had no idea what I was doing. The drawing was on notebook paper, folded up in her backpack. She pulled it out at dinner one night, smoothed it flat on the table, and slid it over to me. She'd used colored pencils, yellow walls, a green roof, little flower boxes in the windows. She'd even drawn herself inside, reading a book with a smile on her face. She said, "Dad, do you think we could build this someday? Not can you build this, but can we build this?" Like she wanted to be part of it. That hit me harder than I expected. I told her, yeah, we could definitely do that. Her whole face lit up. That was March. I started watching YouTube tutorials every night after she went to sleep. Basic framing, how to secure floor joists, which screws don't strip out in cedar. I watched this one guy's channel who had a thick southern accent and made everything look so simple. Spoiler alert, it was not simple. I took notes, like I was back in college. I made diagrams. I watched some videos 5 or 6 times just to understand what a joist hanger even was. There were nights I'd fall asleep with my phone still playing a tutorial video, wake up at 2 a.m. with some guy explaining miter cuts, and I'd watch the whole thing again just to make sure I understood. I filled an entire notebook with sketches and measurements. I drew the tree from every angle. I calculated weight loads, even though I barely remembered how math worked. I became obsessed. This treehouse stopped being just a birthday present. It became proof that I could give Beth something her mother never did: follow through. I bought lumber with my tax return and hid it behind the shed, spent $800 at Lowe's, and had to make 2 trips because I underestimated how much wood I'd need. The guy loading my truck asked what I was building. I told him a treehouse. He laughed and said, "Good luck, man. YouTube?" I nodded. He just shook his head like he'd seen this story before. Every Saturday when she went to her friend's house, I'd work on it for 4 hours straight. I'd tell Beth I was doing yard work, which wasn't technically a lie. The tree in our backyard was this huge oak that had been there longer than the house. Strong branches, good height, perfect spot. I spent the first 2 Saturdays just building the base platform, measuring, remeasuring, leveling it 17 times because it kept coming out crooked. The first time I climbed up into that tree with a drill and a support beam, I was terrified. I'm not great with heights, never have been, but I kept thinking about Beth's drawing, about that little stick figure version of her reading in the treehouse, and I'd take a deep breath and keep going. I drilled into that tree like my life depended on it. My arms shook for hours afterward. I hit my thumb with the hammer so many times I stopped counting. I kept a bag of frozen peas in the cooler I brought outside. My thumbnail turned black and eventually fell off. Beth asked what happened to it at dinner one night. I told her I closed it in the car door. She gave me this look like she knew I was lying, but didn't push it. She just said, "You should be more careful, Dad." I said I would. Then I went out the next Saturday and hit the same thumb again. Cut a board wrong and had to drive back to Home Depot 3 times in one day. 3 times. Same board. I measured it wrong, then I cut it too short, then I bought the wrong type of wood entirely. The guy at the checkout started recognizing me. By the 3rd trip, he just said, "Treehouse?" I said, "How'd you know?" He said, "You've got that look." My dad had the same look when he built mine.